Welcome back to the WHHI Daily News. Heather Rath has joined us. Heather, as you know, is the owner of HRath Consulting. And today we're talking about a variety of topics, but more local focus. Let's start with the Sheriff's Office and the county. And it's still all up in the air, right?
Yeah, so I'm bringing this up because I've brought it up before.
Right.
A lot. I'm very passionate about this. And Town Council is receiving a briefing from their attorney on where this lawsuit status is. And, for those that don't know, we're overpaying for the Sheriff's Office, not due to anything that the Sheriff has done, but due to some infighting between County Council and the Town of Hilton Head Island regarding priorities and funding. I am ready for this to come to a close for a number of reasons, i.e. we're overpaying. And I believe that we have this new opportunity with new County Council leadership in Chairwoman Alice Howard and Vice Chairwoman Tab Tabernick. And then also the fact that we just, kind of got over the 278 thing by coming together and having that kumbaya moment and moving things forward. I'm really excited that we're going to be able to move this forward because, quite honestly, I'm surprised that the Town of Hilton Head Island residents aren't up in arms at every single town council and county council meeting being like, what are we doing?
Right.
And the money, in my opinion, needs to be returned back to Town of Hilton Head Island residents. So I'm a big believer we need to move this forward and move it forward quick.
Now, in a previous segment, you talked about your Washington, D.C. trip.
I did with Vice President Vance and Senator Scott and their commitment to housing.
And so let's talk locally.
Sure.
So what is an opportunity zone?
Yeah, so opportunity zones are something that was born out of Senator Scott and Senator Booker. It's from New Jersey. It's a tax play, right? And it's a deferred tax incentive program. Opportunity zones allow you to invest in communities that need it most. They're done by census tract and they're done with areas that are predominantly lower income. We have an opportunity zone here on Hilton Head Island and that Aquaterra development, the old Christian Academy that was converted to housing was done with opportunity zone funding, which was a great win for the island. It allowed for nurses and teachers and doctors and I know the GM of one of the POAs on Hilton Head, they live there. So there's a good mix of folks that live there, although it is market rate. There was ways when they went for their zoning for the Town of Hilton Head Island to insert some workforce requirements into getting that upzoning. So there's a lot of really great ways that you can use opportunity zones, and we are looking to reauthorize that bill in 2026, and so we'll be looking to see how we can make that useful for Hilton Head Island. Also, as I said before, the federal government is very interested in housing at a number of different levels for a number of different folks in the workforce and up to about $500,000. So we need to be looking at this kind of as a compound, right? How do we work with the federal government in terms of getting them what we need, and how do we pull those strings down to get what we need in our community?
Housing continues to be top of the list.
Housing is top of the list anywhere you go, and it's especially turning to top of the list in rural communities.
Yes.
And that's going to create pressure points on us as a lot of our workforce comes from the rural communities, Hampton, Jasper, and so on and so forth. So we need to be looking at this holistically, and we need to be watching what the federal government is doing because they have the power and the control for the next 2 years. So there's a lot of moves that are going to be made here.
All right. And in closing, you want to say a couple of comments about Sam Christopher and Jay Wendell, who passed.
Yeah. So I wanted to remind everybody that the event for Jay is this Friday, the 21st at Honeyhorn at 4:30, and we're going to be honoring Jay. Jay was a big part of this community, and he suddenly passed in late February, and we want to make sure that his wife and his son are taken care of. So I encourage everybody in the community to come out because he's such a special human being, and I miss him every day.
I know.
I would call him, and he'd be like, Heather Rath, what do you need?
I know.
He was so great, and always at the ball field, as you know, and doing everything. And then we also had a very tragic passing this weekend of Sam Christopher, and Sam is another community member, always there, always at the forefront, volunteering, and his details are forthcoming. But I just wanted to make sure that we as a community honored.
Very good, and embrace
folks.
that. All
Yeah.
right, thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Good update as always.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And that's a wrap for this edition of the WHHI Daily News. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.